question and answer moment. Who here cares about Suzy Lou? Anyone? Not surprised, because even I don't give a fuck about her at this point. Wouldn't really care if she fell off the face of the earth. But somehow, her and her cook Steejo somehow crept back into drama. Why would you idiots do that? Oh yeah, I forgot who you both were for a moment. You love the attention. Egotistical twats. But for this particular video, I'm focusing less on Suzy Lou, thank God for that, and more on Steejo. Fuck. Although I do want to address this, which I find very funny, as she claims the person in question, Mark After Dark, stole her gameplay footage. Yet she herself is stealing money from TV Tokyo and Funimation with her reaction videos. Also, feel like I should bring this up from Update 13, where someone had used her in a video talking about Spyro gameplay, who she then struck. I'm not talking about Mark. Beach Ghost pointed out that it was just a meme that Suzy struck, and then it showed none of her gameplay, to which Steejo agreed to. And then tried putting the "I own the copyright to my face" tweet Suzy made 2 years ago, and using that to try and justify Suzy's takedown of the video, when an actual lawyer said that the clip Mark made was 100% fair use. Again, starting to think Steejo got his credentials out of a sewage outlet. Beast Ghost then brings up that you can't copyright your face, which is true, you can't, and brings up that the clip was just showing Suzy being a bit cringy. To me personally, it might have been how she truly felt about The Last Guardian VR, but maybe a bit of an overreaction. Also, what's stopping you from playing the game again? But this isn't where it ends with Steejo, or as he's otherwise known as Justin Slater. Don't mention me for saying his real name, because you can literally Google this shit. Hell, Suzy Lou's real name isn't even Suzy Lou, it's actually Lucy Teal. Because then it goes on to what looks like attack Beast Ghost by calling him a jobless old man who practically begs for children to give him attention. You got any proof of that, mate? Or are you just making up more bullshit like normal? The latter? Yeah, that's what I thought. Then a person named Jessica shows up out of nowhere and brings up a Social Blade stats, which might be Steejo's most likely, and kinda roasts him while also bringing up that Steejo seems as delusional as Suzy herself, as well as a certain dipstick I no longer want anything to do with because I have actually better things to do with my time, like my job. And then Suzy appears, stating that Steejo runs their third business. I wouldn't trust Steejo to look after a moldy sandwich, to be perfectly honest with you. And that he makes money from that, and then does YouTube whenever he gets free time. And for both his main channel and second channel, titled Steejo Reactions, that seems to be every few days. However, I feel like you should bring this up, Suzy. He does far better reaction videos than you do! His reaction videos, I'd actually fucking watch because at least he's transformative, unlike you! I'm not even joking, I just watched the first couple minutes of his latest Naruto reaction video, and to me, it seemed far more fair use than Suzy's. So, I'll give Steejo points there. Jessica, however, is quick to point out to Suzy that if what she just said is true, then why is he pointing it out to other creators? And her response is, Suzy, why are you so stupid? Those people very much are creators and make far better content than you do. All you do is sit on your ass for half an hour watching anime and reacting to it while bringing absolutely fuck all to the video, resulting in more and more videos for TV Tokyo and Funimation to screw you for with. Then Jessica says that it's kinda scummy pointing out YouTube numbers to someone when Steejo's are worse than the guy Steejo was bitching at for reasons. And Suzy then does a Suzy and states that they'll never reach the number of followers she has on her second channel, and it's basically her just letting her massive ego out. You know, I find it really funny how she keeps on putting down all these YouTubers like Melly and John Swan and the like, but when someone does it to her, she gets all bent out of shape and flags them when literally all they're doing is calling her out. And I should remind you that everyone does their videos differently and can change how they do them. Take my videos. Originally, I'd be doing them freestyle like I used to do because I didn't really like the idea of writing scripts. But nowadays, I'm writing scripts for videos like this because that means I'm not struggling trying to make a sentence and also cuts the voice recording length in half. Thereabouts. Also, someone might want to tell Steejo that even if they think these people are violating their copyright, they're not. Ultimately, a judge will determine whether or not the videos are fair use or not. However, most people also have a brain, which you and Suzy clearly don't have when it comes to this type of shit. Now, I can already hear a bunch of you in the comments going, why are you once again bringing up Suzy Lou on your channel? We thought this shit was over and done with. Well, in a way. While it is true that my last video on the whole situation was back in December of last year, which also happened to be the 14th update video on Suzy, this video is a tad bit different. Which you might have just spotted from how I'm doing this part of the video. And believe me, this is where shit goes too far. Steejo tweeted out a screenshot he took which showed Tipster had blocked him, most likely because he was just fed up with Steejo and wanted to straight up cut him off and focus on more important things instead of a Scotsman who wouldn't know what a law degree looked like if it bit him on the balls. And Suzy is right. That's not a thing I say often about this woman. In this point, that Tipster did want to end the conversation because, like stated, he realized he clearly had better things to do than deal with a pair of nutcases who are clearly too far gone. And then Steejo does the unthinkable. Tipster stated in a tweet that money isn't everything and that he'd pick his wife over all the money in the world and beyond, showing that he doesn't think with his wallet or the local vault, and comments stating that it's sad that Steejo and Suzy would never understand that as they only measure worth with how much cash you have in the local bank of whatever the fuck country the person they're having a pop at is living in. But as you can see, this is a captioned tweet Tipster made by Steejo, where he states the following: you, by your own admission, work all day and stream all night. Yes, it's called hard work and then a lot of fun afterwards, which is something you clearly know nothing about. You do not look after your wife. You're choosing internet numbers over your wife. Money isn't everything, yet apparently clout is. Now this is where many people would say that this is crossing a line. Especially since Tipster's wife isn't a public figure, and actually does have a medical issue, which I'll get to in a sec. But what really annoys me here is that Steejo is effectively now taking pot shots at Tipster's wife and thinks that that is totally okay to do so. Steejo, you have officially won the trophy of complete fucking idiot. Now you'd say that this was the only time Steejo had done this. No. He actually did it again, where he says this: damn, here I was thinking that you were a straight baller who'd be able to afford to look after his, but no. You're just a broke-ass bitch who can't look after his own. I'm gonna point out that the you here should be a who, which would make more sense and better grammar. Just saying. You love your wife, yet you work all day and spend all night on your computer crying about internet drama. This, to me, proves that Steejo quite clearly doesn't have a brain, as any normal person would know that that is taking things way too far. Literally what that does is make you out as an utter cunt who thinks he's better than him when he actually works harder than both you and Suzy ever will. Oh, and this wasn't where Steejo stopped. Oh no. I'm shitting on you for being unable to look after your wife and having to rely on others. You're a lazy fucking bum. You ignore your wife in order to sit and be offended on the internet. If anyone wanted proof that Steejo is a total scumbag, then look no further, as these 3 tweets Steejo made are pretty much proof of that. Allow me to quickly recap through this last one he made. He called Tipster a lazy bum, stating that he relies on other people to look after his own wife. That, right there, is very much crossing the line and gives Tipster the right to chat shit behind your back after that stunt, because it is downright disgusting, cruel, and totally unacceptable. And what makes it even disgusting is that you actually think that this is a perfectly normal thing to do. Remember when both you and Suzy bitched at them all in the past for making videos on you for your shit behavior and effectively calling them bullies? Who's the bully now, you stupid motherfucker? Those 3 tweets really pissed Tipster off, and quite rightly too, as like stated, his wife isn't a public figure and actually has a medical issue. And I honestly don't blame Tipster for what comes next. My wife has muscular dystrophy and I have a day job outside of what I do on YouTube. My in-laws take care of my wife while I'm at work. I made that sacrifice for my wife because I love her. Hateful, insufferable people like you and Suzy would never understand that kind of love. I made sacrifices so my wife can have her health needs taken care of. And somehow that makes me lazy and less of a man? I work my ass off to care and provide for my wife. If in your eyes that makes me less of a man, then that says a lot about you than it does me. Not gonna lie, when people bring my wife into shit, it gets me legit heated. You can roast me or shit on me all you want, but keep my wife out of it. She's not a public figure. She didn't choose this life, so keep her out of it. The level of rage in Tipster is really high from that. Whenever someone has a family member who has serious medical problems and needs to be looked after constantly, while you're out working your ass off doing whatever you can to provide for them, and then someone comes up to you and insults you and talks shit about you while bringing up that family member, it can have serious effects on that person. And depending on what happens next, determines whether you go home unscathed or in a wheelchair, if you're lucky. Straight up attacking someone's characteristics is one thing, but to attack them and bring a family member who is ill into the fray when they have nothing to do with any of this is just absolutely scummy and outright disgusting. And Steejo, you should feel ashamed. Imagine you were the one who had to work hard to provide for that person, and someone then slagged you off and brought that person into it for no fucking reason other than to try and get under that person's skin. Would you tolerate that shit from them? I definitely wouldn't. I decided to block Suzy and Steejo. It's all fun and games roasting each other back and forth, but then bringing my wife and her disability into this is just low. She's not a public figure, so it's not fair to her for me to allow this to continue. Moving on. This just goes to show how horrible of people they are. They actually think making fun of a woman and her disability and shitting on her husband for making sacrifices for her is a sick burn. Really fucking scummy. Tipster blocking them was the right thing to do, but to me personally, he should have also reported them for that, as that is just outright bang out of order and is in no way acceptable. And if they want to keep on deluding themselves that what they said was okay and a sick burn, then I have a strong feeling that a psychiatric ward won't be enough to help these 2 loonies. And AKA is completely right. Shitting on someone's wife and her disability just straight up makes you the lowest human being to exist. And the serious lack of empathy shown is just disturbing. And then states that Steejo should go and actually go do some hard work for once instead of riding someone else's dick for once. And also, maybe you might want to stop wearing Suzy's panties on your head thinking you're cool when I look cooler wearing a maid outfit armed with shoulder missile launchers and a railgun while chewing on a toothpick. And then confusion happens. Scumbag Hector waddles into the whole mess and calls Tipster out for playing victim by bringing up Steejo's girlfriend, claiming that that's actually funny to him. Not gonna lie, your sense of humor is fucked, mate. And then tells them to not bring loved ones into shit if he can't handle it. Okay, two questions, Hector. One, why are you so fucking stupid? And two, didn't you say you were gonna move away from this crap? And the issue with Hector's tweet is that he seems to fail to understand that Suzy was A, already in the shit to begin with, and B, is a public figure. So using that to justify bringing up Tipster's wife is, well, bollocks, really. And more flawed than your entire YouTube channel. And I subbed because I was interested in what new projects he said he'd be working on. Still waiting for them, by the way. Steejo and Suzy are public figures. They both have Twitter accounts and have their own YouTube channels. However, Tipster's wife doesn't have any of that. She doesn't have an online presence. She doesn't do anything that could potentially offend the general public. So bringing her into your little squabble with Tipster and effectively straight up using her as a weapon against Tipster is just downright scummy and disgusting. I honestly cannot believe that you managed to prove me wrong. I legit thought that you two nitwits couldn't possibly get any more stupid or mean, and you then straight up proved me wrong with this little stunt. I'm downright actually annoyed with that. And that level of annoyance I feel is multiplied exponentially, as I can also feel Tipster's rage. I can feel the level of anger that what you did caused him building up right inside of me. And let me tell you something, its level makes the temperature of lava mild and an F5 tornado a slight breeze in comparison. You both deserve to be cancelled for that. No one should be allowed to do that, and the very fact that you two idiots think that that is perfectly A-okay is just downright disgusting. Hell, I'd probably go as far as to say even criminal. Others may not agree with me on that one, but that's how I feel. Nobody on this earth, let alone in this fucking galaxy, should be allowed to bring up a loved one in that type of condition and say that. No one should be allowed to say that. That's going way too far and seriously crossing the line. But unfortunately, this is Suzy and Steejo we're dealing with. Two people whose brains are about as big as a dwarf's testicle and are just some of the worst people on the platform. And this shouldn't be tolerated. The only question is, how long will it take for them to realize... Oh, right. Look who I'm talking about.